So the next thing I want to do is cut some wheel arches into the car, but before that I'm going to organize the scene, and I'm going to do it using the layer editor. So with this panel open, I'm going to change from sort by hierarchy to sort by layer, and then I've got multiple things I can do. So I can select a bunch of objects here, and you can see that it selects these objects in the scene. I can select objects in the scene, it selects over here. So I'm going to take this lot, and so you can shift click to add to the selection and create a new layer from the current selection, like that. I'm going to right click on there, and then that'll give me that dialog, and I'm going to rename it to image planes. Right, so we got our back, and that's hidden. I'll just call that, make sure that's named properly, front. And what else? Well, I want to give that a name because it's got none, so we're going to call it mini. And then I'm going to duplicate it, Control V to a copy, and I'm going to call that form. So I'm going to create a new layer. So I can create empty layers like this, and I'll call it old stuff. And I can drag the mini, oh no, I don't want the form one into old stuff like this. So when we start adding a bunch of vertices to this mesh, it'll start to become very complicated. If we do more cuts, we can create bumps and other deformities in the mesh, and it's quite useful to have this very basic block out of the mesh, a very easy to smooth version because it's made of very few vertices. It's useful to have that hanging around because we can build upon it and use it to repair things later. So that's quite important. So I'm going to hide that. I might hide the back view as well. There you go. And now we're in a good place. We're well organized to start modeling. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my current layer is active, which is by doing that button there. And now anything new I create, like a plane, will be created in the active layer here, as you can see that. I don't need that, so I can delete it. Okay, so that's the basic organization of layers. It's worth playing around with this. There's some other buttons which you might look at. For example, we can freeze our image planes like that, and they'll go grey, and that will just stop us clicking on them. Another top tip is if we select these guys like this, to say there's an option here in the display options to show frozen in grey. You can turn that off. So now I can freeze all these guys and they'll still be visible, but I won't select on them and they won't get in the way, which is very useful. Okay, so that's my scene organized, and we'll start cutting stuff to shape in the next video.